Coming up on CTV News tonight, the inquest into the deaths of victims of February's earthquake continues. Welcome to CTV News, I'm Rob Cope-Williams. The inquest into the deaths of February's earthquake victims today continued with the focus on students from King's College Education that was located in the CTV building. Emily Cooper was at today's inquest.
Today's inquest continued with the deaths of 64 foreign language students who died in the CTV building.
CTV building. The CTV building, situated on the corner of Cashel and Madras Streets, Christchurch, suffered almost complete collapse and a fire ensued within the collapsed rubble. The CTV building consisted of 6 floors, being the ground floor and levels 1 to 5. The following businesses were tenants of the building. CTV, it's Canterbury Television, were on the ground floor and level 1. King's Education, level 3. The Clinic, level 4. Relationship Services, level 5. Level 2 was vacant at the time of the earthquake. It is the belief of the police that 115 people died as a result of the collapse and subsequent fire of the CTV building.
Today's hearing opened with an overview of the day of February's earthquake and the days following, the same as with yesterday's hearing.
At 12:51 p.m. on Tuesday, the 22nd of February 2011, Christchurch, New Zealand suffered an earthquake measuring 6.3 on the Richter scale. The earthquake was followed by a number of aftershocks throughout the day. This earthquake was centred 2 kilometres west of Lyttelton and 10 kilometres southeast of the centre of Christchurch. Multiple fatalities occurred and serious injuries were sustained by a large number of people. It is believed that 181 people died as a result of injuries sustained or attributed to the earthquake. Those who died were in the following locations when the earthquake struck: Canterbury Television CTV building, situated on Madras Street in Christchurch, 115 persons. Central Business District, primarily Cashel, Manchester, Colombo and High Streets, 28 persons. Pine Gould Corporation PGC building, situated on Oxford Terrace, 18 persons. Occupants of the number 702 bus on Colombo Street, 8 persons. Suburbs, 12 persons, that included 2 deaths in Riccarton, the Port Hills, Linwood, Redcliffs and Sydenham, 1 death each in St Albans and Sumner.
The inquest today focused on the foreign students who were all from King's College Education.
King's Education Limited was located on level 3 of the CTV building. King's Education Limited specialised in teaching English to foreign students. As a result of the Canterbury earthquake on the 22nd of February 2011, 64 foreign students lost their lives in the subsequent collapse of the building.
Representatives from both the Japanese and Filipino embassies attended, however there was not one from China, where the majority of the international students came from. Compared to yesterday's hearing, which had around 40 family members attend, today there were only about 5 or 6 in attendance. As with yesterday's hearing for the 13 CTV staff members that died, it was to determine where each person died and the injuries they sustained. The inquest found that the majority of the students' injuries that caused their deaths were crush injuries or burns, which caused major trauma to their bodies. Police say they believe these deadly injuries were directly caused by the earthquake. However, some were listed as dying from smoke inhalation and possible carbon monoxide poisoning. This means these people survived the initial collapse and then died in the subsequent fire of the building. The inquest will continue tomorrow and is due to be finished by Friday.
There's been a major announcement today by the government. Finance Minister Bill English has announced the Earthquake Commission's bill has gone up by over $3 billion. The EQC has increased its estimate of the Canterbury earthquake liability by about $4 billion to $7.1 billion. This is because it now includes the increase of $2.17 billion from the 22nd of February earthquake and $1.42 billion from the 13th of June earthquakes and other aftershocks which are not previously included. However, Earthquake Recovery Minister Jerry Brownlee says Cantabrians affected by the quakes and all New Zealanders should have no concerns about their EQC claims being settled in full. Earlier this year, EQC renewed its reinsurance, which means the country is adequately covered in case of further major events. Since the 4th of September last year, EQC has received more than 388,000 claims for all the earthquakes, one of the highest numbers ever handled by a single insurer in the world. The previous biggest event for EQC was the Gisborne earthquake in 2007, with 6,224 claims. The Canterbury and Christchurch earthquakes are likely to rank globally as the 4th most costly for insurers. We'll have more, incidentally, from Reid Stuyven from the EQC later in the bulletin. But coming up after the break, nearly 80 arrests made by Christchurch police due to people attempting to gain access to the red zone cordon. Welcome back. There's been some movement in regards to the cordon around the city centre. Emily Cooper has the latest.
The cordon around the CBD red zone has been reduced further. A southwest section has opened up, a block surrounded by Oxford Terrace, Litchfield Street and Chewham Street. The eastern end of the block remains closed at Colombo Street. The June 13th aftershocks caused more building damage around the area, resulting in a number of urgent demolitions. Therefore, the area has been cleared earlier than expected. Sarah Demolitions Manager Warwick Isaacs says the reopened area gives an indication of how the city's CBD will look as more areas are opened up in the coming months. Mr Isaacs says Sarah is continuing to identify areas where the CBD cordon can be reduced as quickly and as safely as possible. The latest CBD red zone cordon map can be seen at sarah.govt.nz/red zone cordon map. And figures have also been released by Christchurch Police that show how many people have breached the cordon. And it's been announced that 78 people have been arrested for breaching the red zone cordon since it was put in place after February's earthquake. The number of arrests was at its highest in May, when 18 people were arrested for being inside the cordon without authorisation. Christchurch Central Area Commander Derek Erasmus says the figures indicate that police are keeping a very close watch on the central city area with regular nighttime patrols. In the most recent cases, 3 people were arrested last weekend. 2 of them were allegedly wearing high-vis vests. A strict pass regime is in place to control access to the red zone for demolition work, but at night, the CBD is in lockdown. The maximum penalty is a fine of $5,000 and or up to 3 months imprisonment.
Richard Stokes from the Christchurch City Council says even though Christchurch is missing out on World Cup games, schools in the area are still supporting their chosen country.
I think an important thing for a World Cup is that it is a World Cup. It's not just about the All Blacks, even though we'll all be wanting them to win, obviously. But there's a real opportunity for us to learn more about other countries and support other countries and really enjoy it.
What's the importance of schools adopting another team?
Well, I think we don't have the matches here, which we're all disappointed about. But we're trying to have as much fun as we possibly can through the tournament. So it's an opportunity for schools to get involved, get the children involved in it, and pick another country. So that it's not just waiting for those All Black matches and have some fun in the classroom and with their families as well. I've got a friend who told me on the weekend that her children have all adopted a second team from different countries. They're having a competition, so you can bring it into the family as well and really enjoy the tournament.
It's a great way to learn about other countries as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah. France, Italy I think would be a favourite of mine too, to learn a bit more about, and some of that Italian food I think could go well on the table. So,
so you're going to start doing some Italian cooking?
Yes, well, I might adopt Italy, so I've got an excuse. So,
okay, that's a good idea. What other things are you doing down as part of the Rugby World Cup Festival? Yeah, well, down at Hackley Park at the Events Village site, we're building at the moment, so our mini stadium's going in at the moment. So we've got a stadium there which can seat 1,000 people, and probably about another 2,000 can sit on the pitch that we're having there. So there's going to be activity right through the tournament. All 48 games going to be on the big screens there.
There'll be Ripper Rugby in the mornings, there'll be bands, entertainment. We've got the Complete History of World Rugby abridged theatre piece. New Zealand Army Band, who are wonderful to watch with their scrum formations and lineouts and things they do. And of course the screening of the games. And also we've got the MasterCard Ruck, it's called. MasterCard, one of the tournament sponsors, are helping us out. And that's the dome that you may have seen down there during Rugby World Cup. That's going to house a whole installations we're calling nostalgia lounges, and it shows people the history of rugby in our region right through from the early 1900s and through the decades to present day. And they're wonderful. They've been designed by the CPIT students, architectural design students, and they're amazing installations. They're lounges from homes or kitchens from homes, and in each one you've got the TV from that era, so the old Philips K9 from the 70s, I think that came out. Black and white TV before that, playing a rugby match from that time, but then all the furniture, all the decor from each of those decades. So I think people will really enjoy those.
So is it a first in, first served basis for to watch the game on the big screen?
It is pretty much. So
not ticketed?
Not at this stage. We're not ticketing it. We're going to probably run the first weekend, see how it goes. It's a bit hard to gauge the feel in Christchurch at the moment. So we'll run it that first weekend. If too many people come along, then we'll maybe look at ticketing. But actually, just this week with the seats going in, one of the good things is that you can actually, even if it's full, you'll still be able to see the screens quite easily from outside. So we can accommodate a lot of people.
Now, just going back to this Adopt a School competition, I know the Christchurch City Council's right behind it, but so is Classic Hits. Tell me about that.
Yes, should mention Classic Hits because they're
my old friends there.
Yeah, they're really making it happen. So the schools that do adopt a second team, so through the tournament, one classroom will be selected by the Classic Hits team. So you send your photos into Classic Hits, they'll select a classroom, and they get a in classroom breakfast for winning if they're the chosen one each week. And then at the end of the tournament, one school will be selected and the whole school gets a breakfast from the crew at Classic Hits. So
with Dave and Jace there.
Absolutely, they'll get a visit from those two.
Fun.
And a lot of fun.
I guess you can find out more about that at classichits.co.nz as well.
Classic Hits, also the Rugby World Cup website. So our site is christchurchnz2011.com. So as well as Adopt a Second Team, you'll get all the information on other things that are on in Christchurch during the tournament.
The government's putting funding into training students for trades to help with the rebuild of Canterbury. CPIT is the latest Canterbury tertiary institution to get funding.
CPIT has been working to attract and train tradespeople since the earthquakes opened a lot of opportunities for the industry.
Yes, the government has an initiative called the Trades Academy, which provides funding for young people to stay in school but to spend part of their week doing training that leads to a career.
The government has indicated they plan to double the number of new trade academies over the next year, aimed at keeping more 16 and 17-year-olds in education. Trades academies are partnerships between schools, tertiary institutions and industry training organisations and prepare young people for a career in trades. And if CPIT's success is anything to go by, it will be a great move.
So this year we've got about 150 young people involved. They're still at school, but they come either a couple of afternoons a week or a couple of days a week to CPIT, and they do some training that starts them on the way to a career.
And at a time when tradespeople are set to be in high demand, the initiative is crucial in ensuring Christchurch's rebuild secures these workers.
In any community, but especially in Christchurch and Canterbury at the moment, it's really important that we use the talent that we've got amongst our young people, that none disengage, that none leave the training system or leave the employment system, that they stay connected to training, to education, to employment, that we make every bit of use of the talent pool that's available.
And learning a trade to help rebuild the city is not the only benefit this initiative offers.
With this initiative, some people, aren't as interested in the traditional school curriculum, or they want to try something different, or it's a point in time. At this point in time, they want to pursue a particular career. So it gives them a much greater range of options, keeps them in education, keeps them in training, heads them towards employment, heads them towards successful lives.
And the Institute is also targeting people who have already left school.
And certainly since the earthquake, we've been gearing up our capacity in trades training. We've put on extra classes and we're trying to encourage all sorts of people, young people, people who are reskilling, people who've been displaced from their employment, to consider a career in the trades and to come in and do some training that equips them for that.
Interest in learning a trade has been significant, with enrolments up by a quarter compared with this time last year.
Yes, we've had a good response this semester, already about 25% more in that area than we would have had at this time last year. Obviously, as the rebuild gets started, it'll become more and more attractive. So as well as offering additional classes and having extra people, we're actually gearing up for a lot more additional places in the future.
The government has also introduced the Skills for Canterbury initiative, which aims to train and recruit tradespeople from across the country to help with the rebuild, something CPIT is currently in discussion about.
We're talking with the Tertiary Education Commission, which is the government's arm here, about the funding that we'll need to be able to contribute to that rebuild. But it's a countrywide initiative. Every polytechnic, the ITOs, they're all engaged in that process, and we're all working together to make the best use of that money and negotiating with the TEC about what the future needs will be.
But one new initiative has already taken off and proved a huge success.
One of the initiatives that we've already received funding for is Hatoki, and that's our Maori Trades Training Initiative, and that only started quite recently, but already we've got 100 participants in training courses, in apprenticeships, and in recognition of prior learning. So already 100 Maori people contributing to the rebuild, potentially, of Canterbury.
She says they've found most of these unqualified tradespeople have learnt on the job, and the Polytech has been able to assess them and give them their qualifications so they're able to enter a qualified job.
Welcome back. Here's Reid Stuyven from the EQC with the latest of updates.
Now, what's the latest with the EQC this week?
Really good news. We've started some clinics for the public at the Fletcher's Hubs. So they kicked off this week at North New Brighton, based at QE2. Today and tomorrow we'll be at the Woolston Hub and Ferry Road, and then Tuesday next week we'll be at Fendalton. So it allows the public to come down face to face with EQC. We're equipped with IT, we can answer their questions. It'll be fantastic.
So what's the idea behind these hubs? Is it to be more out there, more in the in the community?
Absolutely, just reaching out into the community face to face with our claimants, trying to answer the questions that they don't necessarily get answered over the phone.
Okay, so the people that are in the hubs, they're well trained and they can answer your questions on the spot?
Yep, so we advertised the jobs internally. So we've got 5 people that have been with us for over 12 months actually on the claim system, so they understand how our system works, they understand our files, and in every Fletcher's Hub there is a senior EQC person. So they're there to help as well. Okay,
so what kind of things do people need to do? They need to bring what along?
Yeah, well, if they want a hand with their contents claim, they should bring the documentation. We can help them work through that. It helps if they can bring their claim number, but if they just want to sit down and talk about their claim progress, they don't need to bring a lot.
Okay, so what kind of decisions can the people in the hub make?
Well, hopefully we can help them get their content schedules lodged. If there's some hardship, maybe we can help promote their claim for payment. We can talk to them about when they're likely to be inspected if they're outside the red and orange zones. We can, just a whole raft of issues that people face every day with EQC. Okay. And we can talk to them about when Fletchers might get there.
Okay, so these are, what, a couple of times a week?
Yeah, we're piloting at the moment, so but it's going to be full time. So we've bought a van that's all branded EQC. You'll see it around town. Yeah. But this is going to be ongoing. At the moment, we're focused on the hubs that get the most drop-ins. So North New Brighton, Woolston, and Fendalton, really busy places. But people just need to pop down, say good day. If they pop and make an appointment, we'll honour the appointment.
How often, how can we find out where they are and when they are each day?
Yeah, we're going to publish that. Okay. So our comms team will do that, but at the moment, as I said, today and tomorrow is at Woolston and Ferry Road. I think it's 560. Monday it's Fendalton Hub and Idris Road. Monday, Tuesday, and then we'll publicise that from there on. And now there was a claimant newsletter went out the other day with details on that, and I think the press has given details today in the paper. Okay,
so that's today and tomorrow, Woolston Fletcher EQR Hub, 596 Ferry Road. That's 9:30 till 3:30. Monday and Tuesday next week, 5 Idris Road, 9:30 till 3:30. So can you sort of make appointments, or can you just turn up?
We're just asking people to drop in, but I think in time we had a really great response yesterday, probably 60 people. So I think down the track we might get to appointments, but at the moment we're just resourcing to meet the demand. So if you drop in, you might have a 5-minute wait, but we'll get to you.
Oh, that's good. 5-minute wait.
Not bad, eh?
Yeah, not bad at all. Okay, right, where are we at the moment? June 13 claim deadline is 13th of September?
Yeah, so 90 days after, well 3 months, so 90 days, 13th of June, last date for lodging your claims from that event, so if you haven't lodged it, need you to do it. You know, we've still got a lot of outstanding contents claims. We need people to get their schedules in. It's business as usual, really.
So this will be the last one, won't it?
We hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've... September was the last recognised event. So
June 13 was?
Yeah, June 13. So touch wood, no more earthquakes. We can just get on with the repair process.
Okay, we're coming up to a year from our very first earthquake.
Yeah, it is.
How are things looking for the EQC?
Look, good. We're really good at the moment. Our assessment numbers are rising, and that's where the helps, and our new technology is really working hard for us and working well. So we've been modelling all our numbers, crunching numbers this week, and we're still really confident that we're going to see everybody by Christmas.
Oh, okay. And quickly, the zones, how are they looking?
Yeah, we should. We're well through all of those zones, but again, some of the data we get with addresses not being quite right is hard to interpret. So if people haven't been seeing 0800 damage, we'll prioritise their claim.
That's CTV News. I'm Rob Williams.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.